All right. Hello, everybody. I am not going to take us live today. I had to use a new recorder or new computer setup. So it's going to be us on the call. And with your permission, I'm going to record the call and I will have to turn it into a video, which takes my time. It's so much faster and lighter and easier to just go live. But I don't want to waste your time or our time on this call by going live. And so people who aren't joining in on the call are going to miss out on the live event, but we're going to have a really great conversation. and and with your permission, I will turn it into a video that then I post in the group so that I keep my commitment that there's content there on Fridays and people can join us in the group. So if anybody feels like adminning for me really quick so that I can do the intro, it would be awesome if you could comment on the coffee post that's in Facebook to just say, hey, you got to join the Zoom today. We're not going to go live. I'm in the call and it's going to be great or something like that, but no obligation. I will not do that. I'm going to open up with today's topic. I'm really excited to see new faces and to meet some people sometimes for the very first time. Our topic today is growth mindset, but we can do other things. This call is really for you and for the community. You can introduce topics, you can bring up other things. I like facilitating a topic because I like to believe that it lightens your load and that we have something really meaningful to talk about and we can come at self-coaching and coaching from lots of different angles. I want you to know and the community to know that we started Integrity Works, our 12-week group coaching program where we've just concluded, or today concludes week 1 of the 12 weeks. And here in Coach Within, you're invited still to join up until Sunday at noon when week 2 stops, but it's at or starts, and it's at that point that we completely close the cohort. We think it's possible for you to miss 1 week, but we don't think it's possible for you to go on missing. So I did want you to know that you have a 20% discount as a member of Coach Within, and you can join Integrity Works. And Integrity Works gives you lifetime access to the Integrity System, which is our fully digital, self-paced, self-coaching program. It's pretty awesome. It's robust. I absolutely love it. Denise is the teacher. I'm your activator coach. And she does the mindfulness because her voice is saucy and calm and centers and integrates the learning. And there's lots of exercises and challenges and real fun to be had in there. You can take it as an audio. You can take it as an audio visual. There's lots of different learning styles that work just with the Integrity System. Integrity Works is our experience of being together and learning self-coaching as a group. And our opportunity is that there's a tool of the week. So a new self-coaching tool is introduced every week. There are writing prompts on Fridays. On Mondays, we have Open Your Week videos. It's also robust and fun. And this group has started and lots of emergent themes and questions come out because one of the value adds of being in that community is we do anonymous surveys weekly. And those anonymous surveys are really, they are knowledge capture for us and part of our research-based coaching practice. That said, it's really your knowledge management practice and your journaling and your ability to track results that are maybe more amorphous and hard to track. It's so easy to say, I tripled my revenue, but it's so much harder to say, I'm 10 times more pleasant to be around, so, or I've reduced my anger and my satisfaction in life is monstrously improved, or I changed my focus from this to this, and now I'm getting this. And so journaling is one of the tools and techniques that's available to everybody. But oftentimes we find that having writing prompts that'll encourage you to ask a higher quality question of yourself and your inner coach so that you tap into your own inner wisdom and listen more actively to your own inner voice. That's part of the special sauce of working with us as we help you develop a stronger, more positive, more engaged, more resourced inner coach. All right. To introduce the topic, I'm going to introduce the topic on growth mindset, but we can tackle any other topic too. Natasha, you're in with us twice. Love it. It's okay. Change programs and everything. Growth mindset. If you listen to the Tuesday talks that happen at 4 o'clock and are live in the group, and that I will be getting up this year. It's part of my mission to get those talks up onto YouTube so that you can also share them and connect those talks and topics with others. But growth mindset is about feeling better fundamentally. It's about having a change, a resilience for change, a desire for change, a thirst.
For a second, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm using Elon Musk technology. It's so fast that I have to use it, but apparently he doesn't partner with Zoom. So I don't know. I'm figuring it out. It's brand new for me for 2 weeks. So I have the fastest internet I've ever had in my life, which makes video production so great. But I don't know why. I haven't figured out why. Um, he doesn't seem to be partnered with Zoom. He doesn't make it easy. And so the calls get skipped and yet it's faster than what I had before. So I'm sorry. Um, I don't think there's anything I can do about it at this point until I figure out to convince, Elon Musk to partner with Zoom.
No problem. It's just that we missed the first part. So if you don't mind,
I don't mind.
saying the first.
I will introduce growth mindset very briefly, because there's a whole talk on it on Tuesday in your group. It's recorded from that Tuesday talk. And so every Tuesday we do a talk and they're free and they inspire our coffee talk. Growth mindset is fundamentally about feeling better. It's about not only performing better, right? So many of us who are high performance driven type A personalities, like we know the art and science of achievement, but we often need to work on confidence or fulfillment or feeling better. Denise and I have worked with well over 100 Olympic and professional coaches or athletes, and they really suffer confidence. And anybody pushing the bar of excellence, who's constantly raising that bar for themselves and those around them, they're pushing, or they're exposed and vulnerable as they're artists or creators or performing artists, or pushing a talent envelope. Scientists and researchers who are bravely putting out brand new content are often working in a silo and isolated, and then they have to go really big and really public. And so it can be really scary. And so I find that the growth mindset is why it comes from Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck. And she's a PhD researcher from Stanford. And she has this book called Mindset, and everybody should get it. It's classic reading at this point, but the concept of fixed mindset is more the binaries. And if you spend any time with me and Denise, you'll know that we really work in the gray space and in nuance. And part of self-coaching is also you discovering your gray space again if you have gotten stuck, because fixed mindset and growth mindset are part of a continuum. But here in Coach Within, we identify as a community as growth-oriented individuals. We, as willing to try, test, and evolve, and to explore and use introspection to ask for more of ourselves, or to try a new approach if we identify that the feedback we're getting or the responses we're getting from even family members or trusted loved ones is not giving us the result that we want. So a growth mindset is all about being happier, having more confidence, liking yourself more, feeling less stressed out, going with the flow, living your dreams, seizing opportunities. And there's phraseology that you can pick up on as a listener to know kind of who you're dealing with too. When people have this belief structure that I can do anything or I can learn hard things, we know that they're growth oriented, because no one knows everything, and we all need to grow in order to develop. To do anything, we have to fail. And so we submitted a lot of ideas, and I would rather be talking about where growth mindset and where fixed mindset kind of comes up for you in your life than rehashing the whole talk. But essentially, I wanted to just highlight a couple of the fast fixes. When you find yourself in a fixed mindset or a stuck or a spiraling in the rumination that isn't serving you anymore, I think growth mindset is also a little bit about, if you can imagine being a floating cork and you're spiraling in the same circle, you just want a wind to kind of blow you out of the circle a little bit and get you out of that space. And so one of the ways that we can do that is with our own inner voice. We can, if we find ourselves saying, I can't do that, I don't have the training for that, I'm, doing whatever might be your mantra or inner talk about a particular subject area. I'm bad at math, or, I don't know how to read a balance sheet, and therefore I can't be an executive, or I don't know what it might be for you. But when you find yourself having a thought like that, it's so neat to capture it and to just look at it. And the Byron Katie approach would be asking yourself, is it true? But the even faster approach that doesn't revolve a conversation, even with yourself about it, is just change the phrase immediately. I don't know how to do that, yet. All you have to do is add the word yet. I don't have the training and skills to read a spreadsheet yet. I don't know if I'm executive material yet. Just add yet at the end of something, because it at least leaves the possibility open for yourself, especially as oftentimes these conversations are really just with ourselves. So adding the word yet is just a really quick fix that can help you. There are other words that you can add that help you develop that attitude of gratitude and help you develop that fail forward fast mentality, that you're going somewhere. If you're doing something that is good for you, good for others. I mean, in the integrity system, we have a 10-question approach. It's not easy. It's not 3. It's not easy to keep in your brain. It requires practice. And it's designed that way to get people to want to practice. Because with a 10-question approach, you can have a more integrated view, a holistic view of whatever it is you're endeavoring. And so adding the word yet, switching have to, I have to go pick up the kids. I have to, do the shopping in order to, I have to get to the gym. I have to, switching your have tos. I have to have, surgery. I have to, switching your have tos into get tos. I get to go pick up my kids. I get to have life-saving surgery. I get to provide for my family and grocery shop and put food on the table. As soon as you get to, you can start to value that contribution, that commitment, that relationship, that teaming, that opportunity to lead and rely on yourself and those in your lives. And it helps you transform some of these disserving stories. And so Denise brings out, she always does the script writing. In fact, I'm really her parrot. Not that I don't contribute to the end user experience, because I cannot deliver it like she does. But so my juice and flair is in there, but she's writing these talks. It's her brilliance that's coming through on Tuesday. And it merits saying, because one of the things that she's really good at is just the question and the pause. If you find yourself at that fixed mindset moment, take the breath, or 3 or 10, whatever you need, center, put your feet on the ground, take a breath, and just ask yourself, is this helping or harming? Am I helping myself or hurting myself with this line of questioning, with this rumination, with this phraseology? Am I helping or harming? And again, we're talking about self because we're coaching in Coach Within, we're coaching self-coaching as a process. Of course, you can use it with other relationships and with your observational power if you're a leader or a family leader or head of community, or I believe everyone that's listening and tuning into this call is a leader. But ultimately, we're dealing with the relationship called you and your inner coach, you and your inner voice. And so is it helping or harming? No coach would harm you actively, right? Even when they make you run stairs and stadium stairs for 45 minutes, they really don't want to break you. They want to make sure you can show up for practice the next day. At least good coaches do. So transforming to more empowered stories, I think, is really great. And so you can use that question of helping or harming about thoughts, about beliefs, about behaviors, about habitualized behaviors that are helping or harming. You can extend beyond yourself. Women, we are always extending beyond ourselves. So I almost have to flip it back and remind you to put yourself first. Is it helping or harming me? It's not okay if it's harming you and good for the kids. Right? It's not okay. It has to be good for you and then good for others. Right? Or you've got to find a new path. So being curious and cultivating curiosity and asking questions of yourself will really help. And then ultimately getting in that growth mindset is also, fixed mindset people are often really jealous. There's an externalized, they can really be jealous of, I don't know why they're millionaires and I'm not, or I don't know why, she's so thin and gorgeous and I can't be, there's, you can see this in megalomaniacs and in personality disorders, but there can be a lot of jealousy. And don't worry if you have some of the jealousy. We live in a social media era, right? And where there can be a lot of comparisons. But growth mindset people are really thinking about, wow, their reaction is more like, wow, that's amazing. I'm so excited for him or her. And the fact that model or example exists means I have more to learn. I get to learn from that. And so they're looking for models, mentors, coaches, whoever might be the kind of person who might help you learn that, acquire that, or that you can model, whether you meet them or not, right? We can model people in our communities. We can model people on LinkedIn who, we look at and we see how they post and connect. And And then the last point that we made in the talk, there were many other points, but the last point I think that merits mentioning here is Denise and I, we launched a program some years ago and did a couple of iterations of it. I think we're the only consultancy that was ever approved by BASPO Swiss Olympic to recertify professional and youth sports coaches in Switzerland on coaching having to do with emotional, all our topics, right? Not the topics the federation teaches or of a particular sporting discipline, but emotional intelligence, the teenage brain, how to fund a bus, how to set up a social media policy that protects kids in the locker rooms, et cetera, like all different topics, gender equality in sport. We got to meet a really incredible coach through that process. There are many, but Clay Arrow comes to mind, and his philosophy is coach or be coached. You're only doing two things when you're on my team, is what he would say. You're coaching or you're getting coaching. And he, of course, extrapolates, because he's a great coach, he extrapolates sports to the rest of life. You're either teaching or learning sufficiently enough to be able to teach. and so I really like that philosophy in when I think about a growth mindset, because it forces us, or it invites us, and let's not force anything, it invites us to integrate learning and knowledge, to test and try what really works, not just we think works, but to put it in the body, to get it in at a cellular level, and to get some je ne sais quoi behind it. And with that, I'm going to stop talking. And so this is where you guys chime in, and you have contributions, you have reflections, you change the subject, you ask for coaching, whatever. But I'm literally going to mute out, and it's your turn. Thank you for listening.
J'y vais. I go. Thank you so much. It's very, very interesting. Every single time I hear you, I have a contact with you, I love it. And it's really the question I'm asking myself whenever I hear you, it's very interesting, deep enough that I want to react, and not too deep in the fact that I'm going to feel or anything. So it's very efficient. I love it. And here you question my mind about admiration, concurrency, and jealousy, which is the thing I avoid, literally. But at one point in the business, I guess it's not good to just avoid and just follow my path and my instinct. And I think I need to find a position to have better visibility for my business and stuff like that. I think it's very interesting, and thank you. Thank you a lot. I'd like to join, but I am quite busy, and I'm making my 2024 now, and so I'm gonna see how I can, have more contact with you. Thank you very much.
That's sweet. Kumeshnee, can you pronounce your name so that I say that better?
Kumeshnee.
Kumeshnee.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. It's a topic that I've dealt with many times. It's a topic that I've read about, but it's always a topic that I find so, every time it comes up, it's new learning, it's expansion, and it opens me up to new things. So thank you. And I think it was perfectly aligned that I was here today, because I'm at the stage in my life. I actually have this little post-it. I don't know if you can even read it. It says, focus on the opportunity. Because I was realizing that I was starting to focus on, I have to do this, and I have to do that. And I'm stepping into 2024 with, I haven't felt that enthusiasm that I've stepped in, like I step into the year normally with. And I noticed that happening this year, and I'm questioning it a lot. And one of the biggest things that's happening is around, I've joined a startup 4 months ago, and I'm starting to realize after 4 months that it's just not sparking joy. But it's hard at the same time to go, let's just say goodbye, find something else, because I've been living in Switzerland for 2 years, and it took me a year and a bit to actually find something that I might be interested in. So I'm also aware of that. So this topic is fascinating for me because it's giving me the opportunity to really explore what else is possible where I'm at right now. It's giving me the opportunity to to think about that phrase that you mentioned, I get to. I get to learn about AI, which is something that is cutting edge and it's new and it's touching every aspect of our lives. It's not a space I've played in before. I get to do things that are completely out of my scope of training. But as a leader, I've touched different sort of areas of management, but I haven't had the full opportunity to be a COO and manage all of these things. So that's really why the word opportunity is sitting on my desk at the moment, because that phrase of I get to have the opportunity, I get to learn something new, I get to be curious about something that I've never experienced before, is very much on my mind. I think it's the how to stay in that presence of it, how to stay like, that's how to keep that spark firing when that moment arises, when I go, oh, I gotta do this now. So that is the big thing for me.
Well, it sounds like you're really growth oriented, right? I mean, I really have to applaud you both. Isabelle, you added a word when you spoke about, you had mentioned admiration. You mentioned a second word, and then you said jealousy. From admiration to something to jealousy. Do you know what you mentioned?
I think I said the word concurrency, like to have concurrent, and thinking that, I'm looking what the other company do, what they propose, different type of, services they propose and how they do. I think I really do it differently. And I think that my image that on Facebook, on the social media and my website are not totally aligned with what we do for real. And I know that is something I have to do right now, and to put it, to show what we really do and the way we do, because we have another approach. And so far I just, hide it a little bit. Yeah, I probably put, some boundaries, and I put some obstacle in my way, but also I'm very perfectionist, demanding. And I know when you have a company, it's not a quality. I like to say it's a quality that we put on the first plan, but we also in the first, in front hand. But what we have to do also is to consider that, because this is because we are like that we can go further, and that's something that is a part of myself. I cannot change it. I know that, and it's important. I need to make it live. So until I'm not really satisfied with what we do, like it's not perfect in my mind, I'm gonna be very, shy, etc., etc. I know that I need to go over that, and I need to tell the people, we do that like that. Do you like it? Do you enjoy? And let me improve it with you. And to so that's marketing. I need to go with the marketing to align that. But I'm not looking really a lot and deeply what the other two. I have my instinct. It's a little bit ridiculous, but I don't like it. I don't think, and I did, the university, I've never watched, never checked, what the other, I was assigned to a job to do, and I did it, and that's all. And that, I know, created distance, with the other. Like when you think about the athletic mind, I love this sentence, the entrepreneur are the athletes of the real life. I love it so much. And I guess that's why also I like what you do. And I think that when there is a good way to be competitive. There is a good way to, and I know I'm not using it, not enough, because I don't look at it. And that's the same for admiration. I find some problems sometimes to find a good mentor for me, or a good coach, because my mind is made like that. I don't admire people. I don't admire things. I am very critic. I am positive. It's not like negative, etc. But I don't look at someone saying, "Oh, I love that. I want to go that."
But do you think that that's required? So I challenge whether or not it's required. I mean,
Hey, I
and
don't
one of
know.
it's one of the reasons why we made self-coaching, because honestly, I agree with you. I'm done with the cult of personality. I'm done with the guru, and I believe
Yeah.
that the best coach lives inside of you. The best coach for you. But your inner coach needs skills. Your inner coach needs tools. Your inner coach needs approaches. Your inner coach needs flexibility. Your inner coach might need team. Your inner coach might need some resources. And I just want to honor what you're saying, because part of this talk in Growth Mindset on Tuesday, I hope you go and watch it and make a comment or something. But part of that talk was also a little bit evolutionary. I may not have done it as well as Denise gave it to me. So you may not get what I got, but let me try now and just say that Denise walked us through a bit of a history in her version of the talk, where she said, you know, so many of us come from our academic institutions and our cultures and our religions and our upbringing. And when we look at all of our formation, so much of it is achievement oriented. And certainly in academia, certainly in research, yeah, you don't cheat, you don't share your work, you don't even, nobody looks at anybody's work. And then you come out in the workplace and they're like, talk to each other, share, we want dynamic teams and your voice matters, but not if you're Black, brown, female, diverse, like, not if you're too old, you run into these experiences, right, of life where it's a complete flip on its head, where now we really care that you talk to one another and share your work and exchange. And by the way, fail. We're going to honor your failures. Nope, you're fired. Or fail. We know that that's a part of innovation. Nope, we you didn't. It's not built into everybody's incentive programs at work. There are some companies, and they're really worth modeling. Actually, and looking at how they incentivize creativity, how they incentivize collaboration, how they incentivize growth mindset, how they incentivize engagement, and who you helped that week, and who helped you, so that people are valuing helping each other instead of valuing, the sales results or being number one in the company, and creative competitive cultures that mean if there's a number one, then they're going to out earn everybody else who's not number one, or whatever, right? How do you build in this consensus? So I just
Yeah.
want to honor you that's part of it. Go.
No, it's also because, yeah, I'm an eternal learner, infinite learner. And so if I don't know something or I don't integrate, I'm curious to do it. I'm curious to try, And so if I am not the competitive mindset, I know I am so deeply, I am a warrior, so there is something, and I want to use a good way of competition to feel and to be more efficient, to have better results, and to try this kind of thing, because I ignore it at the beginning. And so that's also, yeah, something I want to try and integrate, because I think I can like it, and I don't know, it's just, I don't want just to define myself in a way or not. I can observe for a moment, and everything is in movement, all the time. And so because it's in movement, it's just like we take a moment, a capture, a screenshot, and we just have an idea on something, and we can just only imagine, but it's not the reality. The reality is always moving. So maybe, like you said, when you say yet, actually, it's just a moment. You don't know it yet, but maybe even but you don't know that because you didn't really, took the right angle to have the right perspective to see your risk is, etc., etc. And yeah,
I think that's really valid, and that ties to what Kumeshnee has said. Kumeshnee has said,
That's perfect.
right? Because she's also talking about how do you know, right? She's in a brand new industry, working in it's a growth industry. There's a million open jobs. I don't know how many are for diverse women in Switzerland, and so it is miraculous from my experience that you have a really great high level, senior level job, and I hope you pull many people up, even if you're on your way out before you go. Like get a bunch of people in there. Lead it right, do it right, obviously be smart, but I hope you do that. And then it is about evaluating what you've got, right? And so I think that there are a lot of brilliant people who use talent or who use their gut instinct to go and create something. And then if they don't pick their heads up out of the sand, they may not know their value. They may not know how cool they are, or how cool that product is, or how cool that thing is. And so I'm with you. Obviously, I feel like it's obvious, but my American background culture in sports is competition is a net good, right? Because I know that there's plenty of other people from my country and all over the world who use competitive as, the two lions attacking one another until one is dead. That's not how I was raised. I've been coached since I was 4. And the way I was raised was that your competitors make you stronger, faster, better, smarter, brighter, right? Because you use them. And so it's a classic example of learning through your customers, like Microsoft launching something that isn't ready for the market and calling it a pilot, but charging for the pilot, right? Doing something like that. And then taking 10 years to get it best in class because of the dialogue between customer and talent. And then that alternative universe, which is, since you mentioned Switzerland is a country where you've got big pharma and you've got extremely great engineering, and they will take 10 years and $10 billion to go make a best-in-class thing without a single conversation with a customer, right? They'll pick their head up and go, I don't know what to do with it. We've got the smallest battery, longest life on the planet, and I didn't know that it belonged, in hearing aids, right? That they weren't designing it for a purpose. They were designing it for the challenge, or developing a drug that may not get FDA approval and be able to be released to the market. But spending 10 years and $10 billion to go and figure it out. So I think that that's a flipped mentality of taking perfectionism to an extreme. So I hope that you do pick your head up and look around at the competitive landscape of what you're doing, because of course it gives you more confidence if you've got that right mindset that, number one, I'm either winning, I got confirmation that I'm winning, my product, my services, my market analysis, my customers, we are winning, or we're learning. Right? I'm learning more because I picked my head up and I looked around a little bit. So I hope that you free yourself from some of the perfectionism, because it'll be so great. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And thanks for joining in. And thank you for contributing. And really nice to meet you all, and have a wonderful weekend. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.